raising awareness through every track. All-Star PD Sportscast on the rise, shouting loud, reaching the skies. Can't stop, won't stop, our game is strong, fighting Parkinson's all day long. Tim's
Welcome everyone back to another episode of All-Star PD Sportscast. This is an incredible show in my opinion because here we discuss the world of sports, but also most important to our heart and all of us out there, for you too. We do this advocating, but to slow the progression of Parkinson's, very, very, very important. Remember everyone to get up, to move, and holidays coming up, and I'll be eating a lot, so I'll have to be moving extra. But I want to welcome my incredible, beautiful, and one of my closest friends in this whole fight worldwide is welcome Tim. You can also support him, follow him at my PD Party. I'm Sharon's son George, Dr. George Ackerman, and you can find me at togetherforsharon.com. And I've been telling Tim, I don't know why, but this is my actually going to be a secret. This is my Halloween costume for next year. I'm already planning. But my wife and I had the honor a week or two ago to meet Mr. Fox again. So it's the third time. And, we do a lot of this thinking of him, and what an honor to be able to talk to him. But even bigger honor for me today is to help support Team Fox and also throw the show to my beautiful, extra beautiful today and smiling co-host, Tim.
Guys, what is shaking today? So listen, while you're looking at palm trees where you are, I have to shovel that. So, listen, I've had the pleasure of speaking to this guest on another show, and his story is so amazing. The one thing I will say is what he's about to tackle. Even after I watched the show back 2 or 3 times, I still can't fathom it. It's what he's doing is truly amazing. All I could do was text him the other day and just say how much he means to me in this Parkinson's community. Figure this one out: 7 continents, 7 days, seven half marathons. I can't even walk to the fridge on some days without being in pain. So I am so honored to have this unbelievable guest for him to tell this amazing feat that he's about to take on. Mr. Lincoln Bode, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Tim. It's really nice to be here again. George, it's a pleasure to meet you as well.
Thanks. It means the world. And as a unfortunate, I always say this community is such an incredible place, and it's really the light from the darkness. When I lost my mother in 2020, and she really lives on through Tim and through everybody we meet, really worldwide. But when I hear inspiring stories, I get excited, and I think that's what advocacy does for me, and I know for Tim and many people out there who sacrifice so much time and passion for this cause. I can't bring my mother back, but she really does live on through everybody. And the things you're doing, which Tim will get to in a moment, inspires me, but also helps me remember that I was also a caregiver, although no longer. We still have to remember all those who lost their battle. And the things, again, like Tim to bring up now is just simply incredible. Like Tim, I could walk to the the bathroom and the refrigerator, and sometimes I look at a basketball court now, and it looks so far away. It almost looks like it's like 20 miles away as we age. And the things you're doing, just I live through you.
Well, listen, you're with all the surgeries you've had, you're like a bionic man. I don't know how you do it. Let's get into Lincoln. Tell us the most important part about what we're going to ask you today. You're doing all this in honor of your dad, Hank. Tell us a little bit about him, about his life, a little bit about his battle with Parkinson's, and why we're here today.
Thank you, Tim. Yes, I am doing this on behalf of my father, Hank Bode. He passed earlier this year after a 9-year battle with Parkinson's. He was a great dad. I have 2 older brothers, so he was always making sure we were very active, doing different things. We played family tennis, we wrestled, we snow skied. He was always involved, always doing stuff. And at the same time, he was very intelligent. He earned honors to get into a prep school and then scholarship for college. And then he worked in the Navy under Admiral Rickover in the nuclear subdivision as an engineer. So yes, I can say, yeah, my dad is a nuclear engineer.
Mhm.
So with that, he's just a great guy. I didn't know any different. I thought they are wonderful people. And as life progressed, much into his 80s, he then started having some issues that led to being diagnosed with Parkinson's. So from my standpoint, I'm doing this on his behalf, but quite frankly, the more I get into it, I'm realizing this is a bigger picture. This is bigger than me. And oh my goodness, I'm just honored to be talking to you guys. And you talk about your journeys from where your bed to your refrigerator, things like that. It really just keeps me humble.
Now, can I
Wow.
ask? One thing I wanted to ask you. Listen, I've always been big. I mean, obviously, this is a disease that affects the brain, so I feel like that's one of the things you have to exercise, if you will, and keep strong. Of all the things that you and I have spoken about and things I've seen online by your dad, he had a positive mindset to the very end. He is not somebody that ever let Parkinson's beat him a day in his life. Can you maybe through him, through your dealings with him, how did he tackle the mindset part of it? I mean, it sounds like in a very positive manner because I feel that's huge. The first step is getting your mind right to be able to do this. It sounds like that's what he did.
It is. If I may, the first symptoms that he was encountering back when he was about 82 years old was a difficulty of swallowing on occasion and then speech on occasion. And then he would be dancing with my stepmom many, many years, and he was having issues going backwards. So these were some of the early signals that were being sent that led him to basically find out what's going on. And it took a little bit. Like anybody in the whole Parkinson's world, there's so many isms.
Yeah.
Everybody, as you guys mentioned, is different. So once they found the journey in 2016, he was diagnosed. And with it, sure, he wasn't happy to have it,
Right.
but he didn't let it get him down. So specifically, they found a facility called Plymouth Place in LaGrange, Illinois, just outside of Chicago, that offered Parkinson's programs. And the three key things that they were doing then was the rock steady boxing, the loud slash big
Yeah.
activity, and then the third was art class, which allowed him his creativity side. And I truly believe all three of those activities help keep him alive longer at a higher quality of life.
Thanks for sharing that. Before we move forward, I wanted to, I'm sure Tim will agree, with your permission to dedicate today to your father's memory because, we don't want anyone to ever be forgotten.
Uh, Thank you.
No, thank you even more. And also, one area that I'm curious, because as a caregiver, former, I always say, I guess you're a caregiver really for life, no matter what happens. I had a moment, my mother passed, she was only 69, so I feel like she lost 15 years alive due to Parkinson's and likely 15 years after. And I just wanted to throw up a website, and we thought few people would see it, and somehow there's been 60, 70,000 people visited. But I had that one moment in my mind and my family. Actually, my wife was very and so supportive. We actually coined the name Together for Sharon Together. But what was that one moment where, and almost like that aha, where you could have moved on, you could have went back to kind of life and just some people most do that because you don't might not think it could make an impact after. And it's also tragic, after it's just they're not here anymore, not because of just life or regular, not that anyway, passing's good, but this one's particularly tough. So what was that one aha moment that you decided to take running and just change the world? And I know we've done like many, many 5Ks. I love them for many charities. And fortunately, I've had several surgeries, as Tim mentioned. So we'll be at the Disney run, which I'm excited for Team
Yay.
Fox, but I won't be running. Probably, actually, I never heard of this, but I had to ask the permission that you're allowed 1 hour for a 5K because I was scared. I could still jog, but I'll have to stop and things, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for you. But, what was that moment that said, I'm going to run 7 marathons, 7 continents? That's a big jump from just a 5K.
Yes, it is a big jump, but it's equal in perspective. Everybody's got their Everest to climb, whatever it is, we encourage you to try. So the ha-ha moment really was it was the whole conversation was we were tracking the Michael J. Fox Foundation and we were seeing incremental improvements through the research that had been funding. So we are aware of that and through their pamphlets that they hand out, and there's an incredible amount of resources in the Michael J. Fox Foundation program. So building awareness, as you two gentlemen have just mentioned, is part of this. If I come back to it, I have done adventure races. I've done long distances. I'm an endurance athlete on in my years. So I'm not doing as many. But in this situation, I was interested in this race anyway. It just is the culmination of my love of running, traveling the world. I lived overseas for 17 years, and it's just a beautiful place. And then also associating and hobnobbing with other elite athletes at this level and hearing their amazing stories. But that's how it started. It was a little bit more me, me, me. But then as I got into this and meeting the folks at Michael J. Fox, meeting Tim, now meeting you, and as I started to raise funds and awareness to this, I realized this was not about me, Lincoln. This was about we, us. This is an amazing community, which I'm on board, and our goal is to find a cure for Parkinson's.
Now, Lincoln, can you just tell us a little bit about, not to backtrack, but you had mentioned that Dad was big into the Rock Steady boxing program.
Sure.
It's funny because I started doing that, and shame on me. To me, it was almost like a look into my future. Like I saw more elderly people trying to do it, and it almost depressed me a little bit. So I stopped. But I got to tell you, I got back into it because it made me realize that it wasn't a look into my future. They motivated me. The fact that people of that age didn't just take their ball and go home. They wanted to go out and still fight. Your dad did that. Could you tell us, because listen, Rock Steady boxing is a huge thing, and we obviously talk about fitness on the show and how to slow the progression. What was that like for Dad? How did he respond to that?
Oh, if I may, I have one brilliant story where I was visiting them. I had the pleasure of getting over there every week to see them and do little things around the house. And one time goes, hey, come on down, let's attend the course. So I see him, he's suited up, and there are a couple other gentlemen that are suited up with these big Muhammad Ali like boxing gloves. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is real.
Yeah.
And they had the boxing ball, and they started hitting it and tapping and things like that. And I thought, okay, that's good. That's movement.
Yeah.
And then lo and behold, the instructor started asking him questions, and he was answering them, and then started getting a string of questions like, what is the capital of Illinois? And he would say, Springfield. And then what's capital of Massachusetts? And he would answer all 50 states.
Wow.
I can't even do that without boxing. So that was the type of activity that he was involved in. I will admit again, he was in a community of others like this. They had an instructor that was positive and helping. So he put himself in an environment which was nurturing, supportive, and would basically be beneficial to him as he progressed. And I do again say that I believe it slowed the process.
Thanks. I often am also amazed at the work that Tim does on the show, and you can see, I feel like we're already mapped out your next run behind me. But I always hate blocking. I'm like, it's mesmerizing as you're talking about your incredible journey. And then on top of that, but I was wondering if you could tell everyone listening, all our listeners who we do want to support you, go to your website, which we'll share in a moment. But you tell us more about your fundraiser and also what the World Marathon Challenge is.
Sure. Answer the first part. As far as the fundraiser, I'm part of Team Fox 777. The 777 is obviously symbolic for seven half marathons in 7 days on all 7 continents. As I presented this to Dad earlier in the year, and I was asking for his permission, saying, hey, can I do this on your behalf and be a catalyst to use this as the platform to get awareness out in Parkinson's? I told him my goal financially was to exceed $77,700. Quite frankly, that's a lot more than I've ever raised in any of my events, and I'm a bit nervous about it. But he said, okay, I hear you. Let me think about it. Got back to me the next day, and he said, yeah, I'm in. He was willing to allow me to use him as to run on his behalf. And then he paused and he said, about that financial target, I think you could do more.
Typical Dad.
always motivating. So with that is our target. We're at about $16,000 now, which I think is just amazing. I thank everybody who's donated. And I'm super stoked to announce that we have a $25,000 anonymous match gift program out of the blue. Just amazing from now till the end of the year. So anybody listening, if you're thinking about, hey, I might have given, $50, please do, because now that $50 is $100. We thank the anonymous donor. And that gives me more energy to get out there on a cold day like today in
Yeah.
Chicago and run my 12 miles at 12 degrees. So with that, team.fox.777 is my Instagram that my daughter set up, which is just fantastic. She's helping coach me along the way and editing these as we go. The other aspect, as you mentioned earlier, is there you have my home page on the Michael J. Fox website. Then you'll be able to find Lincoln Bode there. Feel free to read the story. It talks about my father. It talks about how this all generated. And let's see, outside of that, I am on Facebook, and I got to update my LinkedIn. I'm a little slow to do that. But anyway, we can get the word out. Meeting gentlemen like, folks like you is another way of doing it. And this is really, truly part of a learning process for me as well.
Well, Lincoln, tell me one thing, because I know you and I have connected through Team Fox. The beautiful people over there, like the Kylie over there. I know what my answer. Why Team Fox? I mean, to me, they're one of the best organizations. They go above and beyond to help people. What led you in that direction to Team Fox?
Well, we had been monitoring. I mean, Dad was a very intelligent man. And when something like this happened in 2016, he canvassed the market. There are a lot of good programs out there for Parkinson's. And the great thing about it is they're all working towards the common cause. Yeah. Everybody is focused on it. So don't get hung up if you're going to give $50 to this Parkinson's or that. It's going in the right direction. With the Michael J. Fox Foundation, we really just liked the fact that they were very clear in where their funding is going, and that almost, well, I believe 100% of all of the donations go to research. They are invested within just a few weeks of that time. They're not sitting around. And the money is running trials. It's generating research. They have full teams focused on trying to move this whole program forward. And the key is they're showing incremental improvements. Yes. And Dad knew you never find a cure right away. You have to work towards it. So he, with his mind, he was able to grasp that and thought that was an important step. And that's why he was willing to support the Michael J. Fox Foundation.
Beautiful.
I feel like we're running with you, and I love your Instagram. Hope everyone will also follow you before we wrap up. I'm going to send it back to Tim for another question, but as you're, we're talking a lot here about sports, slowing the progression. Obviously, you're the caregiver, and you can maybe touch on how important, really, for health, mental health for the caregiver too, athletics is in sports. But with your father, Hank, did he have an opportunity to do any? I mean, you mentioned Rock City, so what did you see? Did it help? Did the sports help him during his battle? How can sports also slow the progression for everyone else out there? Obviously, none of us are medical doctors, but our big concern here and focus is how sports, we feel, and research does show that it can slow the progression of Parkinson's. I'm curious again, did your father feel better on some of the days that he did the rock study? And also, how does it feel for you as a caregiver to be, sweating out there even through the snow?
Again, I'm going to say exactly what you said. I'm not a doctor on all this, but my personal experience is yes, Dad's activity led to a vivacious end of life. He didn't want to be where he was. It was challenging. He had to use more and more of his mind to operate his body. But at the same time, he felt better while doing it. It was a combination of a discipline that you folks in the Parkinson's world have to have. It's the balance of the medicine and the activity of the day, which is just mind-boggling to me. But it's so impressive, and you guys are so courageous with it. And Dad led by example. He basically said every morning when he got up, he had to put a single step on the floor and say, I'm going to do this. So our goal as caregivers around him was really to try to make sure we had the environment in which he can do it. And quite frankly, he and my stepmom, Susan, put themselves in a place where they were surrounded by that. And for Susan, she was then, as the primary caregiver, able to still lead a normal-ish life, be vivacious, be involved in her music, and have friends right in her community. So that was a way of easing the pressure on her because she could still do that stuff. From my standpoint, yes, that leads to all my runs. There's no run. I have never done a run that I haven't thought through what Dad's gone through and what we can try to do to make it better.
Thank you, Lincoln. And also, again, Tim and I will provide these links. You don't have to write them down, but please support all the incredible work he's doing. We'll be following him, although we can't run by your side through this snow. I also want everyone, if you go to togetherforsharon.com, click bookstore, all books, and you can see we're trying to really push this idea that if you can't do one sport, like running 7 continents, there's still other areas like Rocksteady. You can read stories from actual individuals over 30 who have been diagnosed and from every sport, and we're covering them all on the show. But if you purchase the book today or even till the end of the year or any time and put Lincoln's name or his father, Hank, will donate 100% towards the Team Fox for all the work and the effort that Lincoln is now doing. I wanted to now also, again, thank you, Lincoln, but send the show to a wrap up to my co-host, Tim.
Okay, guys. So what I'm going to do, and this is going to make George have a panic attack. I'm going to go off script a little bit because there are 3 things that I just want to quickly hit on in a short amount of time, but they're important to me. Anybody who follows the show knows that I always like to close with an inspiring quote. So I'm going to go back to an old Chinese philosopher named Lao Tzu. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with 1 step. I think it's fitting for what Lincoln is tackling. He's going on a courageous run, but the first step was wanting to do it, wanting to advocate. And I think that everybody needs to know that. Everybody's going to have their limitations. Everybody's going to have their limits to what they could do. But for us to find a cure, everybody's going to do something, even if it's a small part. Advocating is so huge. The second thing is, I'm going to try and do this without tearing up. I want to thank you 2 men. You both kind of have the same story in a way. You don't need to be here. You don't need to be doing what you're doing. I consider you both friends. And I think this community needs more people like you. When we lose our loved one, the fight doesn't end. We still do things in their honor. And that's the both of you on here. I'm honored to be friends with you. I'm honored to be talking to you. And from the bottom of my heart and from this community's heart, I want to thank both of you men so much.
Well, Tim might be mad, but I can spend 7 hours on how much I love him and reason why some days when I have 7 surgeries, I decide from the bed right after anesthesia, actually while anesthesia is still going, I think of Tim and everyone listening. And now also, Lincoln and of course, Hank today, dedicating to Hank always. And, not just Hank, my mother, all those we've lost, but also everyone battling today and their caregivers, because starting in my show out of here, no one should ever feel alone in this fight. And again, I wouldn't want to sit virtually next to anybody else every month through some of the tough shows, the good shows, and sometimes no show. We still keep fighting. And again, Tim doesn't have to do this. Some days he's having struggles also, and he still shows up. So if he's going to do that, if Lincoln's going to keep running in the snow, and I'm going to just watch from the sunny Florida, and we're going to all keep doing this. But it also takes everyone listening to please share the show. Without you all, this isn't possible. And although Tim and I think, can still do the show without airing it because we just talk, we're good friends. So much more fun to share inspiring journeys. And like I said last week, I never knew Lincoln sadly existed. And now look at that, we're family, and it's an instant family because we all have the same purpose. That's to find a cure, and none of us
True, George. The main reason I showed up today is because I'm hoping that Lincoln's got that beautiful jersey that he's going to be wearing on this.
Oh.
I hope he shows us.
Sorry. Yes. So the Michael J. Fox jersey, I'm going to have a flag for each country that I'm running in. A number underneath it relates to the number of people in that country that have Parkinson's, and it allows me to feel like I'm running on their behalf as well. So to your point, you're talking about sports around the world. I'm working with with Michael J. Fox Foundation to get the word out and build the awareness.
You're making me want to go make a Together for Sharon patch to mail to you. I never even had thought of. Maybe I'll figure out next week and get you one. Well, Tim, I don't know if you want to bring another quote, or is that the one we're wrapping up?
I don't think there's anything. The best quote I can end with is, again, thank you, men. Thank both of you, men, for everything you do. You don't have to do it. And we need more Lincolns and more Georges. And God bless you. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart and from the bottom of every Parkinson's warrior's heart. Thank you guys, both of you, so much.
You're welcome, Tim. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. thanks, Lincoln. Again, I'm going to say it 1,000,000,000 times, but this show helps us, in my opinion, make sure that Hank is never forgotten. So today is dedicated to Hank. I'm going to say it, Hank, Hank, Hank. Also, we love Hank, and we're not going to forget him because I wish I had met him. I wish, I always joke with Tim. My mother wouldn't want me to do this because she'd be like, "Go spend your time with the family. Don't forget me," but that's not what she brought me up to be and to do. And that's, we keep doing this. So, on that note, again, beautiful end of the show quote for Tim. Sometimes I get mesmerized by the quotes. I forget we have to. But this has been another episode of All Star PD Sportscast, a show where we discuss the world of sports. And incredible, now we're out of the U.S. We're actually going, talking about world things,
Yeah.
world races. But we talk about the world of sports and most importantly, slowing the progression of PD because I don't think any other show out there in the world is literally 100% towards that goal. And also, I want to thank my beautiful and huge my heart, somebody I think about 24/7, Tim. You can follow him and support him at my PD Party, especially on Instagram. And also, you could find me, well, you know me, so you don't have to, you can find me somewhere because I'll be doing this 24/7 as Lincoln's going to be running. We'll be following his story, sharing his journey. And just because the lights, camera, paparazzi leave the show today doesn't mean this conversation ends. We have to keep fighting worldwide until there's a cure. So thanks, everyone. We love you. And really, this it's to be continued. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Tim.